check fan art real quick. What's in fan art? Don't open it right away, bro. I'm gonna see ass cheeks. Bro, if this is not important. Check out the cardboard cutout. There's no way. Where did you get this shit? Pinterest? What the fuck? Is there a cardboard cutout website? Bro got me in the Calvin Kleins at Vasa. That was a fucking Vasa mirror selfie. Yo. That's Master Prestige Parasocial. What were we were watching a video, bro. Have you guys seen any of MJV Animation's videos? Because this was just recommended in the Discord. Just try it. Just kidding. I don't know. Alright, bro. Let's do this. 4 true scary horror stories animated by MJV Animations.
I live in a small home in a fairly decent neighborhood, and I also work from home as well. I have my office set up upstairs.
And MBBI3 cheered.
Captions or no captions?
X100. Bacon, egg, and cheese, 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 cheese,
fucking
cheese,
kidding me,
cheese,
Adam?
bacon,
We're
egg,
that
and
back.
cheese.
Put some respect on homie, bro. This is the first time we're watching him? Are you fucking kidding me?
I live in a small home in a fairly decent neighborhood, and I also work from home as well. I have my office set up upstairs in a small room, with my desk right by a window that faces the front of the house. I liked being able to open it for fresh air, or have the view when it was nice out. This was as fall was just starting, so I pretty much had the window open all day. One regular weekday though, around noon, I was doing my usual work at my desk when I noticed something out the window. There was a person, a man, standing at the bottom of my driveway, not walking past it or stopping to tie a shoe or anything. He was just standing there and looking up at my house. I couldn't tell if he could see me in the window or not, but after only a few seconds of me looking at him, he walked away. I thought it was really strange, but that was about it. What else was I supposed to think or do? I continued with work. I did an occasional check out the window every now and again, but seeing nothing else, I wasn't too worried about it. The following day, I was on the same routine. I got to work and was pretty busy the whole day. I had a lot of video calls with my coworkers. During one of these calls, I spaced out and happened to glance out the window again. That man was there, standing in the same spot at the end of the driveway and looking up at the house, just like he was before.
Maybe he doesn't hear him knocking on the door. His hand's like, he's acting like he's holding on to something in his pocket, if he's drawing that accurately.
Something about this time was 10 times more creepy and eerie. Why the hell was he back here?
Oh, he got both hands.
I must have stared off at him for a while, because one of my coworkers noticed I looked worried and asked if everything was okay. I said yeah, and tried to refocus on the meeting.
During the meeting?
I kept looking back though. He was standing there for a minute.
On your property? Man, get the fuck off my lawn, fucking weirdo! What? Yo, he's geeked. Oh my god. Eyes look like donuts, they're open so wide. Holy shit.
Then I looked back again, and he was gone. The rest of my workday felt to drag on. I couldn't stop thinking about this random guy looking up at my house. It was just so odd. When I got out of work, I went outside and walked around my driveway, looking for any reason for them to be looking up at my house like that. Everything looked normal. However, I did notice that the window of my office was visible and clear from where the man was standing, which means he could likely see me looking at him.
Bro, I hate that. I need to get tint on my shit. People looking directly into your crib? So weird, bro. Lock all the doors? On your property two days in a row? Dude, I'm filing a complaint. What the fuck? That's straight up a stalker. Or like, confront him. I saw a video of FaZe Banks at the Clout House, and some crazy ass fans pulled up in their car, and he straight hummed a rock at their shit. I don't know if it hit their car, but yo, if someone's chilling on your lawn with their hand ominously in their pocket, I'm assuming there's a Glock in it. I'm either yelling at them or I'm calling the fucking cops. 2 times on 2 different days. He looked like he had the same outfit on. I don't know if that was an accurate animation, but he was probably wearing 2 different outfits. 2 different days, bruh. Buddy.
I went back inside and made dinner. I had a call with my brother that night, and I mentioned it. He agreed it was odd, but said it was likely nothing. After getting off the phone, I sat down and watched TV, hoping to get my mind off of it. A couple hours passed. It was maybe 9 p.m. I had the show turned down because I was getting tired, but with the low volume, I was able to hear what I thought were footsteps outside my house. I jolted up from the couch.
Oh hell no. Oh hell no. They gave me PTSD of the scary bedtime stories. It was called The Big Toe. Have you guys read that one? What were the books? And it had the short scary stories in it. What were those books called? Fuck. They even made a movie. I just watched the movie. What? The books, the scary story books, bro. Scary stories to tell in the dark, yeah. I think it was called The Big Toe. And anyways, this creepy ass demon zombie dude was like, oh, where's my toe? Like walking outside of this dude's crib, and he was upstairs too. It was kind of a similar scenario, and he was like getting it's like very vague, bro. I read it when I was like 10. But he heard this dude like stalking him, and apparently his toe was in his soup or some shit. I don't remember, bro. Find the book and read it. Read the whole story right now.
It says, a boy was digging at the edge of the garden when he saw a big toe. He tried to pick it up, but it was stuck to something. So he gave it a hard jerk, and it came off his hand. Then he heard something groan and scamper away. The boy took the toe into the kitchen and showed it to his mother. It looks nice and plump, she said. I'll put it in the soup, and we'll have it for supper. That night, his father carved the toe into 3 pieces. What the fuck?
I think they ate the toe or something, and then he was looking for the toe, but he knew that shit was in his stomach, and so I think he died. I don't remember how the story ended. Can I skip it again?
But soon, he heard the back door open, and again he heard the voice. Where is my toe? It groaned. Then the boy heard footsteps move through the kitchen, into the dining room, into the living room, into the front hall, then slowly climbed the stairs. Closer and closer they came. Soon they were up in the upstairs hall. Now they were outside of his door. Where's my toe? The voice groaned. His door opened, shaking with fear. He listened as the footsteps slowly moved through the dark towards his bed. Then they stopped. Where's my toe? The voice groaned. At this point, pause. Then, jump at the person next to you and shout, you've got it. What the fuck? What?
That's how it ends. It doesn't even tell you how it ends. That motherfucker definitely dies.
Tired, but with the low volume, I was able to hear what I thought were footsteps outside my house.
You see?
Add
you see the ties?
MBBI3 cheered.
Oh my god.
X100.
What is this?
Life
the
could be a
preamble?
dream, life could be a dream, do. Shaboom, life could be a...
Ungrateful. Dude gave me $1 to spam the video. He was trying to time it. He didn't even know I was gonna pause. Yeah, now what?
I jolted up from the couch and stared at the front door. The footsteps walked up, only stopping for a brief second, then walked away. I hurried over to the door and looked out the peephole. I could only faintly see a figure walking down to the road. Once they were gone, I opened the door. Immediately, I noticed a note taped to the back.
Add MBBI3 cheered. X100. Shakira,
Oh
I never really knew that she could
It was short. It just said, Pat, answer the door. I was not only confused, but horrified. How did they know my name? And what was the note even supposed to mean?
He didn't
They
recognize
didn't
the
even
dude?
knock or stay long enough for me to have answered the door. Not that I would have.
I would just answer the door. Like, what the fuck is he gonna do? I mean, answer the door with that heat, like just in case. Have that shotgun propped up against the behind the door, but like, what you mean? You're in your house. He's on your property. Like what? There's laws for that, bruh.
Anyway. This was enough for me to call the police.
Oh, okay.
2 officers came over, and I told them everything. Unfortunately, there wasn't all that much they could do, though. They pretty much wrote it all down, and said if something else happens, call them. It really didn't make me feel much better.
That's why you need a Ring camera, bro. Instantly, boom, identify suspect. That motherfucker is caught in like 2040p, but he's caught.
I stayed up late that night, laying in bed, unable to sleep. I literally just laid there for hours, thinking about this man that was stalking my house and the eerie note he left. Then, at just before 2 a.m., a knock at the front door echoed through the otherwise silent house. My body froze up. The silence of the house was now deafening as I listened.
Bro, knocking noises, bro, at 2 a.m.? Dude, he calls the cops, right? Dude. I just have, even besides the weirdos or whatever stalkers you might deal with, that's probably pretty rare. There's like package thieves and shit, bro. You never know. Like, what? You should just have a camera. Whether it's fucking Ring, if Google Home and Ring are like too expensive, get some Amazon shit. Fucking put your own setup, like an Elgato or something. Shit.
Listened in fear. After a few seconds, they knocked again. My heart started beating faster. I got my phone and called 911.
And video.
They sent officers right away, but the knocks continued the whole time I waited. Eerily, they never got louder or more rushed or aggressive. It was just the same knocking, over and over, echoing through the hallways of my home. The operator on the phone updated me that the cops were 2 minutes out.
Damn.
And just after that,
Shit.
there was a longer pause between the knocking. 15 seconds, then 30, then a whole minute passed.
That shit was not funny. I'm sorry.
When the officers showed up, nobody was at the door. They were too late. Again, I told them what happened, and
Can you, within your rights, tackle the fuck and restrain the person that's knocking on your front door until the officers arrive? Can you do that? Or am I going to court? Can I fucking... Yeah, you're not going anywhere, buddy. He's right here! He's right here! Citizens arrest? Yeah. Citizens KO, bitch.
they seemed to take it a little bit more seriously this time, but it still wasn't enough for them to do anything about it. They said they would have an officer patrol around here for the next couple weeks. Those weeks came and went, and the man never came back up to my door, or to the end of the driveway, at least from what I know.
He knew his name, though?
It's been months later now, and still, nothing else. It still scares the hell out of me, though. The thought of the creepy note telling me to answer the door, and then there being knocking at 2 a.m. is just terrifying. Then there's also the thought of them coming back, lingering in my head.
Was it like a... The only thing I can think of is... Why does it look like a ball sack? Dude's forehead. God damn. A rogue DoorDasher that's like pissed at you for not tipping good or something. Like, how else would they know your name? That's the only plausible scenario. Because it shows your name, right? If you were fucking over a DoorDasher, like you edited that shit, put a 0 tip or something, you did something foul, and they remembered you. They were like, Pat answered the door. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what they wanted, who they were, or if they're truly gone for good.
Oh, he's so stressed. Look at his hands.
This was when I was a freshman in high school. The town I lived in was small, and I guess you could say pretty old-fashioned compared to places nowadays. It was very woodsy all around, and the buildings and houses weren't so compacted together. My home was out in the woods. My parents had a decent amount of land, and my dad had built the place with his dad. Anyway, it didn't have a real road or driveway. It was more of a dirt trail, so the school buses didn't
This looks like every horror movie house ever.
have a stop at our place. I'd either have to walk a mile to my friend's house to get picked up, or just walk the extra distance straight to school. Usually, I just walk all the way to school. This was a typical day, as far as I could tell. I was walking down the trail from my home, enjoying the calm morning sounds of the woods, when I spotted a car up ahead. It wasn't my parents' car, or anyone else's that I knew, and it was just parked right on the trail. This trail only led to and from the house, so someone being on here was unusual.
I like how he's switching up the animation. What car was that? Was it a BMW? That was a Mercedes. That was a Mercedes, wasn't it?
So someone being on here was unusual. I don't know if I'd ever seen a random car here at all before this. I felt kind of uncomfortable having to pass it. There was a woman inside.
Michael Jackson?
She
Oh.
looked 35 or 40, with dark circles under her eyes and shaggy black hair. She glanced at me, but I just looked down. I could feel her eyes on me as I walked past, though. I picked up the pace and got to school. At the
That was kind of a nice whip to be a stalker.
dinner table that night, I mentioned it to my parents, asking who it was and why they were there. Both of them looked worried and confused. They told me the woman must have just gotten lost, and I shouldn't worry about it, but I could see the worry in their eyes. They dropped me off at school for the next week, which was odd because they both started work early, like 6 a.m., so they must have called in
They
late
got ops,
for the
bro.
entire week just to drop me off. Honestly, I thought that it was an overreaction, as I felt I was old enough to handle myself, but I knew my parents were just being safe. On Monday morning of the following week, I packed up my book bag and started walking. During the last week that I'd been dropped off, we never saw the woman or the car, so I really wasn't worried at all anymore. However, this time, when I got to that same spot in the woods, she was there again, sitting in her car, watching me.
Her polo.
I had a mini heart attack. This was too much to be a coincidence, showing up twice on the trail that was basically our driveway, sitting in the same spot.
What if she's just like, what if that's her smoke spot? You know what I'm saying? Trying to be low key. Like, I mean, buddy, you're living in Slender Man ass woods, bro. That's like the middle of nowhere. You ain't getting caught doing shit. That's like where I would go. Fuck you mean? Max defending the creep wild. How far is this car? Cause is the person staring at them? Or is there tints on the windows and he can't really like make her out? And she's like hiding her joint while he's passing by. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being open-minded, bro.
And only showing up when
The
I was walking
landlord?
alone. I made the decision to cut through the woods instead of walking past her again. I took a few steps off the trail, but immediately the woman noticed.
No, it's a BMW.
She turned her car on and drove up closer to me.
Oh hell no,
I
that's weird.
pretended to ignore her,
Oh, no, that's weird.
walking faster into the woods. I heard her car
she actually got the Michael Jackson. She got the socks and the shoes and everything.
door open, and her footsteps crunching on the leaves behind me.
He puts on a
But
glove.
then she called out my name, like my full name, in this eerily calm and loving voice. I turned my head and looked at her. She had this dead stare and blank, expressionless face. Her eyes were tired and heavy, and she had this sickly look. I sprinted away, and after losing sight of her, I circled back through the woods to my house, where I called my parents. They called the police and came home
Yeah,
right
that's weird,
away.
bro.
What I didn't expect was my parents to know exactly who the woman was. It was my dad's ex-wife. From almost 2 decades ago.
God!
Apparently, she'd had
Damn!
mental health issues for a while and would have these horrifying episodes where she'd get obsessed with something and do disturbing things. The day I told them I saw her, my parents reported it to the police,
A restraining
knowing it
order.
had to be her. Police failed to do anything about it, though.
Damn, that's like an M6. What happened, bro?
Only checking up on her and saying she seemed normal. For that whole week, though, she had been stalking our house, knowing that every time my parents left for work early, it meant I would be walking alone to school. My parents never told me what happened to her after this, or what she was trying to do to me, or why she was doing any of it.
She just stopped.
Hopefully, nothing like that happens again.
I'm gonna need some more protective measures. Cameras like fucking 100 yards out. I'm talking attached to trees, bruh. In the middle of the woods. Ex-wife of 20 decades ago, 20 years ago. Knew his exact name. What the fuck is... I feel like I need to know the story of the divorce. Like, what? Like, and nothing happened? They just, like, told the police about it and nothing happened. The Sims 4?
Gibbs.
An expansion pack? Oh, shit. I'm not playing that shit.
This was in 2019. I worked at a grocery store, usually closing shifts, and I lived alone in a small one-bedroom apartment. We had a lot of regulars at our store, customers that would come in all the time, and usually around the same time as well. One of these customers was a guy that came in right before closing a couple times a
I
week.
hate that shit. I feel that shit. I feel the hatred in my fucking fingertips, bro. Dude, y'all, for the people who have worked with food before, when a motherfucker walks in, like, I remember when I worked at Five Guys, our closing time was 10. When motherfuckers would walk in at 9:59 and their fat asses would order 2 cheeseburgers, a fucking hot dog, they would get creative with it. They would, like, throw cheese on the hot dog and other topping at, like, 9:59, bro. We were, like, in the middle of mopping the floors. Motherfuckers were walking in. Hungry as shit. They weren't walking in like, yo, can I have, like, just a quick hot dog?
Tino
I'm sorry. They wouldn't even apologize.
2118
Just be like,
just resubbed for 7 months.
let me get 2 burgers, let me get a shake, let me get that Cajun fry, extra Cajun. They just start going ham.
Nobody knew his name, but everybody knew of him, because nobody liked customers that came in 10 minutes before the store closed. Usually being the only cashier, I'd be the one interacting with him. He was always a bit strange. He didn't talk much.
He got the
and always
munchies, bro. He's in the cereal. Hey.
had a
just like
tired
me,
look
bro.
on his face. This night, he came in as he always did, right before closing, grabbing a couple things and coming up to the register. I scanned everything, he paid, and he left. We didn't exchange any words aside from a simple greeting.
Is he famous or something?
10 minutes later, I closed down the register and spent a few minutes cleaning up, clocking out and leaving at 10:15. As I walked out to my car, I noticed the man was still in the parking lot. He was standing awkwardly outside of his car, with his hands at his side, just looking at the store. I got in my car and went home. I didn't have work the following day, so I stayed up a bit later than usual. I didn't get into bed until probably 1 a.m. Only moments after getting under the covers though, a bright light glared into my bedroom through one of the windows. I thought it was a neighbor pulling in, so I didn't really care about it. After a second, the light shut off, which unconsciously confirmed to me that it was just headlights. I fell asleep only a couple minutes later.
Followed her home?
I woke up in the night to what I thought was my phone ringing. The way I woke up, half asleep and in the middle of a dream, it was hard to tell what was real and what wasn't. I rubbed my eyes and tapped my phone on the nightstand. It was blank. No messages or phone calls came in. I wasn't sure what to think. I was going to just ignore it and go back to sleep, as I wasn't even fully awake yet to begin. But the slightest thing caught my eye as I rolled back over. The bedroom door was barely cracked open, not even enough to let any light in or anything. It was just uneven with the door frame, not latched shut. I always closed the door to my room, so seeing it not fully shut immediately woke me up. I got out of bed and walked over, pushing it closed to see if maybe it was stuck for some reason. It smoothly latched into the door frame, just like it always did, so there was no way I'd mistakenly left it open. I felt my body get shaky. My heart was pounding. But even with everything pointing otherwise, I still tried to convince myself that this was somehow nothing. I tried to think of any possible way that this was something to not worry about. But my mind thought back to the light I saw before falling asleep. I walked over to the window and peeked through the blinds. There was a car parked in my driveway. I could only see the back half of it, but I instantly felt a rush of panic. Who was at my house? and was someone inside
Was it the same
with
car?
me. I hurried over to the door again and flicked on the lights. I stood there by the door, panicking and thinking, realizing I should call 911 just to be safe. I looked at the nightstand that my phone was on, and just before I started to walk over there, I saw an eye looking back at me from a crack in the closet. My body shook and I let out a gasp, then spun around and sprinted out of my house. By the time I found a neighbor that would answer their door and call the police for me, at least 15 minutes had gone by already.
Dude, being alone in an apartment house or any square footage, bro, you need a gun, bro. I'd be like, I bet. You comfortable? You comfortable in that closet? Yeah, I'll replace that closet. It's on warranty, buddy. You fucking kidding me? Yeah, make sure he's facing me so that won't stand in court. He's not gonna be standing in court. Fuck you mean?
The car in my driveway was still there when officers showed up, but the man was gone. It didn't take long for them to use the car to track him down though, and I felt nauseous when it turned out to be the man from the grocery store.
Jeff the killer.
His reasonings for everything didn't make any sense, but it was clear he'd had his eye on me for a while now, and he was not mentally well. I think the only reason I'd woken up that night was because the man's phone rang while he was hiding, and he silenced it just as I woke up.
Phone?
If
the noise that she heard was his phone. Damn.
Or if I'd even be here right now.
Last story.
I work at a really trashy bowling alley in my small town. It's one of those family-owned type places. Real small and not the best. But in our town, it was a regular place a lot of people...
Is that same motherfucker? He pulled it to the bowling alley? Hey, it don't matter how run down a bowling alley is. They got the best chicken tenders, bro. I'll say that right now. With honey mustard, always with
people
honey
went
mustard.
To for some reason. I think it was because it was one of the only 24/7 places open for people to hang at. At least it used to be. This was in December. I had the dreaded 10 to 6 shift. It was almost always dead, and this night it was even more so. There was a huge snowstorm rolling through our town. From the time I clocked in and took over for the last shift, not a single customer was there.
Wait, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.? Oh shit. I thought he said 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I was like, he's probably getting all the try-hard, like, actual bowling committees and shit at, like, noon? Oh yeah, motherfuckers, the Golden Gloves are showing up at noon.
I spent 2 hours cleaning up all the lanes, except for one, just in case a group happened to come in later. I checked out the windows. The parking lot was empty, and snow was stacking up. I wasn't sure someone could even drive through the parking lot with all this snow, unless a plow truck came through.
Sure.
After a bit, I pulled up a chair to the window and sat down, just looking out and resting, as there was nothing else to do. The place didn't have cameras, let alone anyone to watch them, so taking long breaks on slow days, or even sometimes sleeping, was easy to get away with.
What year is this? He didn't whip out his phone. The first thing I'm doing is watching the show. What? He's like collecting his thoughts, looking at the snow falling. Like it was 1984 or something.
Another hour or so went by, when seemingly out of nowhere, there was a loud thud from behind the bowling lanes. I think I was half asleep when it happened, but I jolted up. I got off the chair and walked toward the back room. I really had no clue what that was. Maybe it had something to do with the snowstorm outside. The back room was where all the pins and bowling balls were stored, along with all the machines that run everything. It's basically a long hallway going the full length of the building. When I opened the door, it was completely dark. I didn't hear or see anything at first, until I looked down. There was water going down the hallway in a very clear footstep pattern. My face went pale. Hello? Who's in here?
Don't call out. Go check the cameras. That's an establishment, right? How low grade is this bowling alley? There ain't cameras in there, for sure. If this had made the cut, there's no cameras.
I started walking down, calling out a couple more times before I came across something taped to the wall. It was an envelope. In it were pictures, like Polaroids, of me working alone that night.
Oh,
There were some of me
fuck
cleaning
no.
the lanes and just walking around, and one was disturbingly close to me
Of you
as I was
falling
sitting
asleep,
by the window.
dumbass.
It looked like they must have only been a few feet behind me. I felt like I was
Run.
gonna faint.
Throw
I
the
ran
pictures.
back out the
No,
way
keep
I
the
came,
pictures.
and
Run.
right to the front desk, dialing 911. I
Outside.
tried waiting.
Bro. You live in the Did he say he had a car? Motherfucker, you can't make the call in your locked car with your jacket on, with the AC on heat. What is he doing still in there? He's probably taking pictures of you right now. He's making a new Polaroid compilation.
For a minute, but the silence of the building, the unknowingness of what was going on, just started to build up anxiety in me. I ended up running out to my car and waiting in there. Despite the weather, police actually got there really quick, like in 2 or 3 minutes.
Damn.
Whoever had been stalking me that night left no traces. Of course, the trashy place didn't have any cameras, so there was nothing else to go on. I don't know what that person
your
was
own
trying
damn
to
fault,
do,
bro.
or if it was just some sick joke, or what. Since then, I didn't have anything else happen. I
And I got
quit a
cameras.
couple months
Oh.
after, though.
He left that shit. I would too, bro. I was like, hopefully they got cameras after that happened. Shit. Everyone say adios to YouTube just in case I post this. More importantly, everyone go show MJV animation some love. Those were some fire animations. I like it. We switched it up. He was switching it up with every story. It was a little bit different with the animations.